Sure. All right. So, guys, you can prepare questions for the last couple moments. But we are, one thing as a pastor, I don't want to just be one-dimensional, just, concerned about your spiritual life. I'm concerned about every aspect of your life. And I really want y'all to have some money. All right? But more than...
Me too.
He said, but look, but more than having money, I don't want you to have the life of the rich young ruler who had a lot of stuff, but he was still sad. All right? So there's no need for you there are people that have things, and they're only happy when you're looking at it. And if nobody's observing your stuff and say that your stuff is tight and you dope like this and your car is hot and, man, your house is nice, they're depressed. All right? I want you to have a life of the Zoe life, to the abundance, to the full, till it overflow. Happiness, joy, laughing at everything, just that, all right? And there's nothing like owning your time, being an entrepreneur. Yeah, you got to work hard for a season to get it started, but I'm telling you, man, that vision going to run. It's going to speak. All right, so, man of God, first question that I have, please explain from your perspective, what is RICE? I keep messing up the acronym. The Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. Been following your ministry probably for over a decade, so it's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here, and thank you all just for the invitation. So I just want to make sure I say that first. And even the fact that you have the vision to see beyond, like I said, the four walls of the church. I think that's where the church has gotten stuck for so long, and now we see other industries happening, and then the church is still stuck behind. So thank God for your vision and how you're pushing things forward. So the Russell Innovation Center, we kind of do a combination. We call it an incubator, an accelerator, a co-working space. We are the largest center physically in the United States for specifically supporting, developing, and scaling Black entrepreneurs. Our building, that building that you saw, is over 50,000 square feet. And with classroom space, teaching, training, coaching, and developing entrepreneurs. And so we're very focused and intentional on how we help businesses go literally from a concept or an idea to scaling that all the way out.
So you've actually seen businesses, somebody come in with an idea, and now their business is thriving.
Absolutely. Now, we've only been doing what we've been doing about 3.5 years, right? And two or more years that was a pandemic. But we do have businesses that people just have an idea. But we have others who may have already been in business, like some of those you saw in the video. They've been in business before they came to us, but then we put them in the right place with the right people. Like in that video, Walmart and UPS, right, are partnered with us. We're helping that business, like one of those businesses, he has a nut business, to get in distribution into Walmart. Right, so no matter where you are in business, you don't have to be a startup, but also you may have been in business 10, 15, 20 years. Now you're trying to just get to that next place. We can actually help you too.
Wow. All right, you have a question?
Yeah, what's your advice, your direction, your protocol for someone that does not have a business? What's the first 3 things they need to do to get started?
He already said it today. Write the vision. We're gonna take those 3 steps, right?
There you go.
Because a lot of times people get stuck in their head, right, and it never comes to life because they didn't take that next step. Right, and there's a spiritual principle actually connected to writing the vision. It's almost like, and I heard a man of God talk about this, basically say, we authorize God to move on our behalf when we write it down.
Wow. Wait, say that again. Turn the mic up. Turn the mic up enough that they can hear this. Say it again.
There are principles in the earth that God works by, right? He set it up, he established it, and oftentimes he's waiting for us to move and make moves, but part of that, him moving through us, is when we write something down that then he can back.
Like a contract.
Like a contract, absolutely. So when we talk about what's the first thing to do, literally get it out of your head. That's why I love what you did on the wall, right? I love that people begin to write their vision. So actually in the Russell Center, this was before I got there. So, and I can't really talk about the Russell Center. If I could take a moment and then I'm gonna come back. You can't talk about the Russell without really talk about Mr. Russell, right? This is a Black man over 70 years ago when they were still lynching Black people that put his name on a building on Northside Drive.
Wow.
and basically said, I'm going to actually create something that becomes a manifestation, because right across the street is Morehouse, Spelman, Atlanta University, and all of that. I want to see when those students come out, they need to see the manifestation of what success could look like. So this man literally established that building in that space and helped to integrate the Chamber of Commerce at the Atlanta level, at the Georgia level. Of course, Atlanta is called the cradle of the civil rights movement, but we didn't have a lot of unrest, right? But 117 students from the AUC got arrested. They made one phone call from one man, he bailed them all out. That was Herman Russell. Wow. 65% of the downtown actually has the Russell Construction Company contributed to the buildings of downtown. So this is a man with a multi-generational legacy. I said all that to say, to get back to, so when they moved out of the building, and when they were rededicating the building to a nonprofit, they had all the staff, all the family, and everyone right on the walls.
Wow.
Of what they envisioned that place was going to be when it was all gutted out. And then they say that the daughter, she's the older, name is Danita, she had to write about 3 or 4 times. They kept painting it over, it kept bleeding through.
Yeah.
Like the message she wanted was so powerful, it kept literally bleeding. They had to paint over that thing about 4 or 5 times, right? So when we look at what's happening now there, it really was the seed that was planted really by Herman Russell and what he did, that now we're the next generation, if you will, to build entrepreneurs that continue on that legacy.
All right, so we have entrepreneurs that write the vision, they make it plain, they come to you, they've made that first step. What, if you have visions that you've never heard of before, do you help with, I guess, patenting and copyrights and just all things like that, just to get the invention, I guess, started?
Yes.
Okay.
So even with writing the vision and even with kind of getting that idea out there, we have people, consultants basically help you shape that vision, right? To help you even put it in a format. Because even before you talk about a patent, can this idea or concept even be marketable, right? Are there even enough people out here who want it? So when we think about market research, right, finding like my target audience, so I don't even go through the process of spending all the money to get a patent if there's not really a market for it, right? But then let's say it is something we can market, absolutely. So we're partnering with law firms, right? They can help you go through that patenting and trademark process. We're partnering with others, and we're launching some things this year around product design. So now we take it from the patent of an idea, literally people who are experts, right, to help you kind of begin to design it, to begin to manufacture, to begin to develop prototypes, and then eventually be able to help you manufacture it. So you're literally shipping this thing all over the world.
Wow. Wow. So let's say, talk about people who kind of come to you, then they don't come back, or maybe on the flip side, the guy that just won't quit. Do you see people like that give up quick, or you know, most of the people that by the time they get to you, they've already have you know, are they at the beginning stages? Like, what type of people do you see?
We see a little bit of everything, right? So currently, we have somewhat of a membership model. We call them stakeholders. So people do sign up, right? And so but the goal of that is that you're in an ongoing relationship with us. It's not that you come to us one time to get an idea and run off. And some people do that. Some people come and they got what they think they need and they run off. But we really set up an opportunity for you to have an ongoing relationship for the life of your business. So it's not a one-time meeting. It's really, so there, as I said, we have classes that are set up, but we have coaches, we have consultants. Because again, even at different stages of your business, you're gonna need different things. And so something that you may need in the beginning may be different than something that you need later on. So we want you to stay connected to the family of Rice so that whatever you needed this year may be different what you need next year, but guess what? You're still part of the family. So now you just plug into a different resource at that point in time. Because again, entrepreneurship is not a 6-week class, right? It's not a 12-week class. It has ups and downs, and so but the part of that of you staying connected are the other people that are part of that process. So yeah, you're working on your business, but guess what? You're sitting next to 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 people who are working on theirs too, and you're learning just as much from them as well as the other resources that we're providing to you.
Yeah, iron sharpening iron. Yes,
absolutely.
So you are located in the AUC. Do you see mostly college students, or are you seeing older people, or even kids? I mean, what is your I guess your main demographic?
Sure. So we're actually across the street from the AUC. Okay. So we're close to it. I guess you could say right next to it. But we're primarily focused on adults. And so we get a few college students. Actually, we have our youngest CEO is 11 years old. We have a high school student. But the majority, believe it or not, are actually probably, I would say, between 25 and 50 years old. Because and a lot of people are on their second careers, right? So we're not really getting as many students, although we welcome them, let's say, coming right out of college. But it's people who've been in the workforce, and maybe you've been in corporate 10 years, and now you got this really idea. Those are typically people we see come to us, I guess, if you just look at the numbers. But again, we welcome all ages, but if I just look at the numbers about who typically comes, it's kind of people 20, 30, 40, right? Trying to oftentimes get in that next second or third career, trying to take their now new idea to that next level.
Wow. So I had a full-time job. I was working at a church, but I had visions to have my own business and, sustain myself through my business. I want you to talk about transitioning from a full-time job. I went from full-time to part-time. Then I went from part-time to being a contractor, from a contractor to just fully on my own. I didn't go from full-time to just on my own. I kind of transitioned myself out. And so we were pregnant at the time. Well, she was pregnant. I was standing there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But but he was, well, anyway.
I got you.
So they know what I'm about to say. But through that, we needed the insurance from the job, so kind of kept my ties there, but still was working on music, working on the structure of our own business. And so can you talk about the transition from a person that is full-time? How do they find time to work on a business if you're on your job for 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever, and you're exhausted when you get home, but you're still trying to, pour into your business and trying to work on that transition out of being full-time into being full-time on as an entrepreneur. And a lot of people get stuck there. Like, I am exhausted. I just can't do anything else today or whatever. And they don't have any time. You got a husband, wife, you got family. You have no time to really pour into the business. How do you suggest that they do that using the right center?
Yeah. That's a great question, because we actually do have a lot of people who are still full-time at work, right? Some people are part-time at work. Some people are full-time in their business. So we have that whole spectrum. So one of the things that we do in particular is, because like so many people are still working full-time on the job, we actually have a lot of our resources are in the evenings, right? So, and as well as webinars, right? So that way you don't have to come to the building. A lot of our stuff is done virtually from that standpoint. Because that is a critical transition. Like I said, I'm very careful when I talk about entrepreneurship, not to have people just jumping off and run out of here and leaving, quitting their job tomorrow. If God didn't tell you to do that, don't do that. You're in disobedience, right? So it's a process, right? And it's typically going to be sacrifice. Because again, if you're working a full-time job, you got to think about the evenings and the weekends and how do you squeeze it all in. I went through that same process, except, I kind of jumped off that cliff immediately. Although I did about 6 months of planning before I did it, though. And I had clients laid up lined up. When I started my career, I was at Georgia Power, and I spent about 8 or 9 years there. And then from there, I did jump out and launch my own business. But I spent a lot of time talking to experts, talking to people in the field that I wanted to be in, lining up clients before I went out there. And again, it didn't work out as perfectly as I wanted, but I spent time planning that process, and it still wasn't smooth. And so this is also part of where your faith comes into play, right? Because first of all, you got to make sure you really heard from God. But I think there's two parts of that. Sometimes we hear from God about the what, but we don't wait long enough to hear about the how, right? Because we get excited. We get excited about the vision. We get excited about running out, but then we decide, thank you, God, for the idea. I'll take it from here, right? Versus saying, God, this is your idea, just like Noah, let's do this together. Your idea in your timing, right? With your resource, under your authority. And sometimes we're not that patient, especially if we really want to leave that job, right? Because then it's like, oh, God gave me permission to quit tomorrow, right? And I'm out of here. He didn't say that, right?
And a lot of time on the job, you're training for what you're getting ready to go into.
Absolutely.
Because how can you be, you got to be faithful over what he's giving you, another man's, before you take over your own, and so the Bible says you be faithful over a few, he'll make you rule over many. So you have to, be faithful in that. If not, what if you had employees that act like you?
Right. You wouldn't want them to do that to you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Late on you.
Right.
Leave at any time.
2 hour
cheating.
breaks.
2 hour breaks on you. Do you want the type of employee that you are? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I think being faithful at anything that you do at the level wherever you are is important. And I love what you said about the how, because all of this is a journey with God.
Absolutely.
It's all a journey with God. You're on a journey with God. Make sure you can hear God's voice, and the voice of a stranger you won't follow. Make sure you can hear him. So at this point, when you're working on your job, he's going to tell you some stuff that you need to fix up on your job.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Before you go into being an entrepreneur, let's fix up you being late, or let's fix up your character here, or stop lying, or stop cheating, stop getting extra money. Y'all find out a way to get some extra money, some overtime, and you ain't there overtime. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, look at y'all laughing. I done stepped on all type of toes in here. That's why we keep the lights low, so the camera won't hit the guilty ones. All right.
And could I ask something to that too?
Yes, sir.
Right. And let them train you for your next opportunity.
Yeah.
Take every class that they're going to pay for. Take every trip that they're going to allow you to go on. Meet everybody they're going to allow you to meet. Because you just never know how you can leverage that in your next season. So if they're going to pay you to prepare you for your next place.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Use every opportunity where God has placed you for what you want to do next. But absorb it all. Because if they're going to send you to school, go to school on their dime. Yeah. Right? If they're going to send you to a conference, go there and make all the connections you can make. Now, use it for your job, but they're your connections now, right? So a lot of times we think very limited where we are, because we always think about the next thing, but what can God do where you are to prepare you for that next thing?
Yes, that's solid.
Quick question. What is the number one hiccup that you see universally with everybody that kind of comes in? Is it lack of resources? Is it the time issue? Is it like, what's that number one hiccup that it seems like everybody runs into mostly, or the most?
Sure. We talk about lack of resources a lot, and that's real, right? Because again, whether it be lack of financial capital, but I would even say like lack of relational capital is one of the biggest things too, right? Because you don't need the money if a resource that you have has the money, right? If your friend
repeat,
rewind.
Say that again.
Yeah.
If you have a friend or your network has the resource, you don't have to have it in your bank account if you know where to go get it, right? You don't.
My bill.
Right. You don't have to have all the right ideas or information if you know who does, and you can go get it. Right? You have to know where your customers are. And again, so I give a plug to one of my previous employers, Georgia State Small Business Development Center. They have free market research information. A lot of the business on a very practical level don't succeed because they don't know who their customers are. They haven't spent the time to research them. But guess what? You can get free research at Georgia State University and a lot of the universities through the Small Business Development Center. So a lot of times we always think it's lack of money, but a lot of times it's not lack of money. It is lack of that relationships that we haven't built or overlooked. But oftentimes those are the very people that can actually pour back into the business, either relationally, customers, and financially, right, from that standpoint.
Man, you are I'm telling you, you're a wealth of knowledge, but you're like you're a gem to the kingdom. And here's why. Most of the times, universally, especially as African Americans and in the African American church, we come to church, we know how to church. We don't know how to live too good. And so our Holy Ghost is strong in church time, but you are depressed and hating life between church time. You know what I'm saying? And I want to make life, like Jesus says, I am come that you might have life and life more abundantly. And so that is the goal, man, that we become just a group of people that live good on a level, and then everybody that's at it, man, what do you work, man? I do this. You like it? No, I hate it. Cool. You about to be an entrepreneur. Now, there are people that work in a field that they always dreamed of. That's good. Like, you could do that. Do that. But if you're in a place where you just have a career and you can't wait to get off work, then come join. Like walk with us in this. Let me give you. So what I do is music. All right. When I was working at World Changers with Pastor Dollar, Pastor Taffy, I started serving and working in their big studio. And I was working in that studio. Actually, when I came, nobody was using it because they told her that she bought the wrong equipment. And I was like, they told you bought what? I was like, just open the door and let me get in there. And so all the type of stuff. Then I got the studio working. We started putting out projects and started doing things. But it was a training ground for what I'm doing now. Also, I tried to figure out, man, I travel too much, and I had to sacrifice, like the playoffs are today. You know, Dallas playing San Francisco. Yeah. You know, a lot of these games, because of what I do, I was in the airport, or I'm ministering, or I'm doing something, and I missed a lot of games. So a lot of stuff that people enjoy, sometimes I have to sacrifice because of the life I chose. I'm good with it, though, you know, because the check be all right. I'm like, okay, I missed the game, but I'm good. I'm okay. Who won? All right. I'm good. So I had to learn to be okay with not living a normal life like everybody else. All right. I had to sacrifice my time to where other people are kicking it and doing whatever. I have to do overtime. So now, you know, I used to pay to get other tracks. You know, we've always done tracks, but before that, a track is worth, I would say, you know, on a smaller level, $1,500 to $2,000. You know, mastering back then was $300 a song. No, the whole project was like $700, $800 to put it out. And then you got to mix and master it. We have to book the studio. The studio is $1,000 a day for the studio time. And then you got to pay the engineer, and you got to pay his assistant. And so you're talking about putting out a song or a project, maybe a full album, at least probably 10 grand when you count up all the costs. That's at least. Okay, it cost me nothing to do a record because I taught myself how to mix. I taught myself how to produce. I taught myself how to write. I taught myself and they got mastering programs. I taught myself how to master. And so I taught myself all of this stuff to knock down my overhead. All right? So I knocked down my, so worship in 808s, I paid the dude that did the artwork $100. That's it. Million made me a beat. He usually charged. He better not charge me. You know. But my point is, over time, I learned to produce wealth out of nothing. All right, and even let me take you a step further. I didn't have any more time to be in the studio, because I had to be away. So I had to learn how to get a studio sound off of my laptop. So all of the work that we doing, I'm somewhere, but never really in the same place at the same time. I'm producing tracks on the plane. I'm producing tracks in the car because I became the studio. Like, I am the studio. I don't have to go into a studio. You know how Superman got to go into a booth to change? I ain't got to do that. I am. You see what I'm saying? So, and with this idea with Steph and Steph built this this box that we can sing in front of a choo-choo train and not hear anything because of how he designed the box. Now I can record anywhere. Now I don't necessarily have to be in a certain room. I could be anywhere and record. So we reduced our overhead to nothing. So as your business, the idea is, you know, low output, heavy input.
It's not how much you make, it's your expenses.
Right, that's what kills.
If it took a lot to make it, then you closing that gap versus it takes nothing to do it, and the income creates a bigger gap.
Yeah. I got an in-house back BGV. I pay her in dances. Pay her in dances and breakfast. All right, we want to do questions. We got 5 minutes for questions. If you got anything else to say before.
I want to hit on something you said because I think it's critical. Not even what you said, I think what's behind what you said. There was a drive, right, for you to do that. There was a purpose behind you even wanting to do that. Because I think sometimes we glamorize entrepreneurship and not connect it to your purpose. Right? Because if you had done all that and it wasn't part of your purpose, you would have been out of alignment. Right. That has been a lot of hard work. It even could have been a lot of money, and it would have been a waste if it wasn't connected to your purpose. And I think that's one of the disconnects that we have, because oftentimes we think about the money. We think about the quote-unquote freedom from the job. But I tell you, as an entrepreneur, you're going to work probably harder, but at least it would be for you. But he's going to work harder, and you probably going to work, right? Because it ain't 9 to 5. You're not going to shut it down once you get in your car and jump home, right? That's almost 24/7. Right. So I think when we think about entrepreneurship, we need to understand what is your kingdom purpose.
And desire. So
right?
It doesn't become another job.
Absolutely.
You get off your job and then you end up going to another job because you're trying to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And then
but you don't even like it.
Yeah,
right.
I am a chronic beat maker. I make beats. I watched the game yesterday and just made music, sang hooks right in front of the TV. Like I don't have a studio anymore. I got a table that I eat at, and I got my desk there, and I make songs while I watch TV. That's how I made Worship at 808s. It's just everything just right there. It's effortless to make music. God has anointed me to do it, and I make. And also, there has been a temptation to use my gift for pride, to answer people through songs. Oh, you said that? All right, bet. And I vented in songs. It's songs I can't let y'all listen to. She like them though. I'm like, man, you so bad. But my gift, the enemy wants to use your gift for pride purposes. And it's always, it's like, God, what do you want me to do with this? You know, one of the main things about Noah building the ark is he did what God told him to do. And so right now, there are people telling me about the industry. They're trying to hint to me, Canton, you just released Yahweh. You do Worship at 808s. Man, you got too much music coming out at one time. The system is not built to go like that. But I'm like, I'm not going by y'all's system. Now, I put a song in y'all system, and y'all can work it as slow as y'all want to work it. But God told me to put this music out and trust Him. All right. So I got another record, a funk record, finna come out. That mother just gonna be like, free life, free life. I got a funk record that's coming out, and I just want to do music. And God is telling me, He's just trust me. Trust me. I'm going to have the game conform to you. Because when I was out, albums was out. When he was started, they were tapes. Joker he had a white tape with no labels. No labels on the tape. And he could look at the tape and tell you where the song is. It's right there. So y'all, kids don't even know what tapes are or CDs. You see what I'm saying? And so my mind is albums every 2 years. That's how I'm like. You put out an album, let the world get it every 2 years, and God is like, drop it now. Like I just finished it, drop another one, bam. Now I got probably how many songs just in the queue? You think maybe 100 songs that's just sitting there. That's just sitting there. And she mad at me because I ain't released. I got songs that I haven't released that she loved. You're like, put it out. And I'm like, baby, And so that. But the whole thing about it is I even have to work on my confidence of dropping music. Cause they like babies to be like, something ain't right. It ain't cooked yet. It ain't. And she like, it's great. Put it out. And I'm like, you know. And so I want you guys to really consider, man, when you have a passion for something, you don't really feel like you're working.
And that's the quickest way to find your purpose. People like, man, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? God puts it in you so that you can follow it. You have to find a thing that, see, there's a difference between work and job.
Yeah.
Your job is what you're paid to do. Your work is what you're born to do. Jesus says, I have finished John 17:4. He's praying right before he goes to the cross. He says, Father, I have finished the work that you sent me to do. Now, he was not talking about being a carpenter. Right. Carpenter was his job, right. But his work was the ministry. So don't get confused with having a job and your work. Anybody can do a job. You want to get into your work. Your work is an assignment that God put a seed on the inside of you. And the Bible says he gives you the desires of your heart. It's not that God is a cosmic genie just answering your every need. He's saying the desire you have to start that, the desire you have to work with young people, the desire you have to work with old people, the desire you have to build buildings. God gave you that so that you can follow it and get in alignment with what he wants you to do. So how do I find my purpose? It's not outside, I'm looking for my purpose. No, you look inside to find the purpose. You don't look outside, because the thing is, it's a seed, and that seed, when your work will produce the fruit of the seed that's on the inside. So you don't look for your purpose, it's inside of you. So find the thing that you desire the most. Right. Like, what will you do if nobody even paid you? Right. Beats. Yeah, what will you do if it, teach? Like, what can you do? Wake up in your sleep and just start doing it. That's where your purpose, that's where your assignment is, that's where your vision needs to align with.
And can I build on that? When we think about purpose too, we need to also think about what problem in the world has God called me to fix?
That's it, yeah.
Right, because it's going to connect to what you're passionate about. And I'll tie it all the way back to write the vision. So if you go back to the beginning of the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, before we get to write the vision, he was arguing with God about the state of the land. Right. He was complaining to God, and God really was kind of telling him, well, what are you going to do about it?
Preach.
And Habakkuk was like, what you going to do about it? Yeah. And so then we get to chapter 2. That's when God told Habakkuk, write the vision. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to fix the land. Yeah. So a lot of times we're writing visions, we ain't ask God what the vision was. Yeah. I'm writing down my own idea. Yeah. Right? But I haven't connected what I'm writing to God's assignment for me, but his purpose, his passion for me, which then it authorizes me to actually go do it. But I just want to write down what I think is interesting or exciting versus what do I see that's a problem that I believe God has called me to fix. Now, God tell me how to fix this problem, in this case, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Good stuff. Problem solving.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to start answering questions. If you have a question, just come up real quick.
A 30-second question. 30-second question.
Like, wait, before we do that. Like, don't get up after she has sat down. Yeah. Everybody get up now, and whoever's up, that's it. Like, don't wait for her to sit down. You know, so she's gonna be first in line. You come right here. All right. Yeah. You come right here, and please make that line. If that's it, then after this, that's it. So all right. Wait. Do not wait for her to sit down. When she start talking, that's gonna be the end of that line. I'm trying to give people a chance. If you gonna come down. All right. If you gonna come down, get in the line. All right, so we got 3. All right, so that's it. All right, good. That's it. All right. Now, you're gonna ask your question.
Is everyone an entrepreneur?
Everyone may not be a business owner, but everyone should be entrepreneurial. An entrepreneur is a problem solver that brings value, right? So everyone may not end up in a full-time entrepreneurial role, but your house should have multiple streams of income. Right, there are things you could be doing in addition to a job, right, that's bringing value to the world and an income to your household. And so even in a job, you should be solving problems, right? You want to become indispensable, unfireable, just be a problem solver. Right. Be a problem solver, and that really is the genesis of the seed of an entrepreneur. So yeah, everybody may not full-time own a business, but you should be doing something outside of just a 9-to-5 that's bringing multiple streams of income into your household.
That's good.
And a lot of times we put a lot of trust in our employers to whereas they may let us down one day.
Absolutely.
I've seen some people stay on a job for years and then get fired. And when they have devoted their lives and loyalty to that job and that job didn't feel the same way or did at one time, but they changed certain things and felt like you wasn't in the next plan. And so it's always good to just have your own. God bless the child that has his own. All right, you just have your own, at least ideas, you know, so that you won't be stuck. And I think, too, when you talk about your purpose, it's not necessary. It's just from working from a place of peace.
Absolutely.
When you talk about cancer, you talk about your body breaking down, you're talking about dealing with certain people, you're talking about all of this stuff that stress you out. Entrepreneurship, when you're working from a purpose, you're working from a place of peace. When I am in the studio, I am in such a place of peace. Put on those headphones, and so that is, I want y'all to live long, you know. I don't want you to just have money, and I want you to be strong. I want you to be healthy. And I understand that when you're doing what you love to do, there's nothing but positive energy around you. And so, you know, we want to push you towards entrepreneurship. Even though you might not feel like you're ready for it, one day you will be. Amen. Your leadership is on the inside of you. All right. Amen.
So I got money coming to me because I'm ready to start my own business. And it's going to be released next week, as what my attorney told me on yesterday. I'm a fashion designer, a architect designer, and I also do comic books and everything. So do y'all have where, if I come to you, do y'all have where I just want to sell my stuff? I want to be the owner of everything. Do y'all have where I could just sell my stuff? You know, I just want to distribute my you know, everything that God has, you know, placed in my life, and that's all I want. I have the money.
You want people to buy your You want people to buy your ideas.
To buy my idea.
Okay.
And so how can I do that? You know, without, you know, going through like this channel, that channel, and all that.
So we could have people that actually help you put that strategy together, right, and identify who are your target markets, right? Because again, it's one thing to have the money to create it. Now having the money then to distribute it to the right audiences, whether that's globally, whether it's locally, whether it's California, whatever it is, because I think that's the other key thing. Where do you need to sell and who's willing to buy it depending on where it is? And so we have people that can help you put that strategy together. Absolutely.
Come on. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, thank you for this. This is very informative. Quick question. I have like products in my mind, and I have like prototypes at home. I'm a speech therapist, so you know, people see me in real time. Hey, you know, thanks for helping my kid. But I'm looking for that market globally. So my concern is giving my idea to the wrong person and them taking it and running with it. So do you all vet the people who work with the people who come in? Do they have to sign some type of agreement to, hey, when you work with this person, you're seeing their idea, but you know, you have an agreement with us that if you try to take it for your own means and for your own prosperity, there is some type of consequence?
Absolutely. So we don't just kind of pick random people, even if they're really, really smart. We do it through connection and through relationship. And they realize, like, when they're coming to engage with us and on behalf of the businesses that we work with, there's a responsibility there, right? And it's not there, and they can't come in and take that idea and run and do something else with it. So we're very sensitive about who we let in our house, right, to work with our stakeholders and the businesses that we work with. Absolutely.
Okay, and last question. At the end, will you have information on the screen about how we can contact you? You know, what the pricing is based off where you are in your entrepreneurial walk? Absolutely.
I think there is a slide. To that point, there is an information session that will come up in February. So that's actually mandatory. There's two, so you can attend one or the other. And that will give you all the information that you need about getting the process started. So if you go probably to the last slide, and there's actually a QR code on there. All you got to do is sign up. Again, it's free to get to come to the information session. Yeah, there you go, right there. So February 21st at 6.
And they're on those screens as well.
And then February 24th at 11. So one in the evening, one in the afternoon. And so the cost is $100 a month. But for that $100 a month, it's all inclusive. You get access to the building as a co-working space, but all the classes, all the training, all the consulting, all the pro bono legal support, pro bono accounting support, a lot of the stuff we do is actually included in that $100 a month.
What?
Yes.
Let's go. So, like I said, man, you are a gem. Like, I'm stepping out, just hoping other pastors would go this route with people to just try to walk them into the life he living. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfair to live a quality life and not share it. At least tell me, bro. You know. And so I don't ever want to do be like that. You know, I want everybody to be live a life that you have your own choice. You know, and that I gotta go to work is the thing that you have to say like when it's all said and done, man. Most of your time was spent doing something that you didn't like. No way. All right. So any other? Well, that was it with the questions because you should have got up. But wasn't this super informative, man? Y'all give it up for Mr. Paul. Minister. Yes, sir. Paul. Minister Paul.
And I like that you use the word to teach, but like principles in entrepreneurship, and you tie it to the word so people can see their faith inside of it. You know what I'm saying? And they won't disconnect it like my faith is in church, but it ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just out there. I like the way you interweave the word and take just the kingdom perspective into it.
And we also know that none of this can happen, of course, without God, but we know that there's always a family that is pushing you and making this thing happen. So if you could please bring the family up, please. Please. I know you didn't want me. I saw it on your face. You were like, please don't say nothing. Come on. Yes, please.
Just come to around the side right here.
Just come right.
You can come to the front.
Because we know without family, it's going to be really hard to do anything.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So much. Man, thank y'all. Look at this awesome family. Yeah. All right.
And they line up in order. I like that. They're like, y'all done this before. Like, they just lined up. Like the Alvin and Chipmunk, they was straight. They're lined up. I like that.
And
that's
so
order. Yeah.
we love this family. Now, I because of what we've been called to do as Free Life, I want to put our brand into this process, and y'all, they help me, you know, because of everything that we've been called to do, a lot of it hasn't been done,
Right.
you know, and so my vision and how I see things is different. So we're gonna like stay connected and take Free Life through that. As we take Free Life through that, if you guys want to be a part of that, man, just kind of get in. You know, get some information, get in, but everything still comes down to the work. What you gonna do? You know, man, go fill out this paperwork. Go find out this. Just do it. You know, and a lot of times you got to do it yourself. I learned how to do lights. I learned how to do whatever for this ministry. I was paying somebody, but I wasn't getting what I wanted, so I had to literally just do it until it came out the way I wanted it. And so sometimes it goes through that process. You got to be willing to do it. But man, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like you're working at all. All right? So I want y'all to give this family a round of applause. Give this research. Shout out to Rice, Russell Innovation Center of Entrepreneurship. Yes, sir.